Hello everyone, Grantfly here. Today we're going to take a look at an interesting deck based around Krovikan Horror and Zombie Infestation and Squee, Goblin Nabob. I'm calling this Krovikan Infestation. There's been a bunch of decks around that are kind of operating, looking at this interaction of Zombie Infestation and creatures that come back from the graveyard. So let me go over the basics. First of all, we got 4 Zombie Infestation. Black and 1, discard 2 cards, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. This is a pretty powerful enchantment. It sees a little bit of play in pre-modern. And, making a 2/2 zombie every turn is pretty nice, but it does require you to discard 2 cards. So if you can't kind of get a discount or get some value on that somehow, it's not that good because that's not a great rate for a single zombie. But there is a way to do that. One of the cards that can help you kind of get some value back from this is Squee, Goblin Nabob. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may return this card from your graveyard to your hand, 1/1 for 3, Legendary Goblin. This card is, of course, used a lot in Survival of the Fittest decks as a way to generate advantage with that card over the course of multiple turns, and the same thing is true here. You can discard it to Zombie Infestation, get it back, and all of the next turn, and then all of a sudden, you are not losing a card every turn. You are breaking even. Now, what happens if you introduce this card, Krovikan Horror? 2/2 for 4. At the beginning of the end step, if this card is in your graveyard with a creature card directly above it, you may return this card to your hand. And then also has the ability that you can pay 1, sacrifice a creature, and it will deal 1 to any target. So basically, if you have this and a Squee in your hand, you can discard both, and then at the end of the turn, Krovikan Horror will come back to your hand, and at the beginning of your upkeep, Squee will come back to your hand, and you can do it again. One interesting thing about Krovikan Horror is that it triggers on each end step. So you can discard it once on your turn and then get it back, and then potentially again on your opponent's turn and get it back. So you can kind of get a little bit of extra zombies out of this. With like say you have this and 2 Squees, you can do that. So this is a pretty powerful interaction, but there are some restrictions. First of all, you can play all these cards in your deck, but it's not any guarantee that you will draw them. So what are we doing to mitigate that? Well, for the creatures, there's a card you can play called Buried Alive. Black and 2, search your library for up to 3 creature cards, put them into your graveyard, then shuffle. This is often used in conjunction with Sutured Ghoul or something that you want to reanimate right away and try and kill your opponent with. But in this case, it's just sort of a value card to find and get back these value engine creatures. We can play a Phyrexian Arena. Now, I know I've been a bit of a hater on Arena in the past, and I still am to a certain degree, but I played a different version of this deck with Graveworm Muse, and I think 4 mana for this type of deck is not really where you want to be, because for this strategy, I often found myself wanting to hold lands in my hand to use with Zombie Infestation. So you don't necessarily even want to play out your 4th land, and it's also vulnerable to removal and stuff like that. And I don't really want to play a ton of lands in the deck because the curve's pretty low. I mean, it basically stops at 3. And it just felt clunky playing Graveworm Muse. So I want to try out one Phyrexian Arena. And one other card you can use so that takes care of the creatures, but what about the infestation? Well, in black, Vampiric Tutor is banned. There are a few tutors you could try and play. There's Tainted Pact, which kind of lets you like look through not look through your library, but reveal cards from your library. But it has a pretty big downside. Actually, is this card even legal? I might be confusing it with something else. Yeah, it's legal. Okay, so you exile the top card, put it in your hand unless it has the same name as another card. So this actually could be interesting. Maybe I should try one of these, but it does kind of let you burn through your deck. But let's try without it for this run. Something to keep in mind in the future, I guess, as a way to try and dig towards Zombie Infestation. But another card you can play is Urza's Bauble. 0 mana, sack this artifact, look at a random card in target player's hand, draw a card at the beginning of the next turn's upkeep. So there's a few reasons I think, even though I don't really love Urza's Bauble in general, there's a few reasons I think it could be good in this type of deck. The first, as I mentioned, is that it just lets you cycle through your deck a little bit faster, which can in turn help you find Zombie Infestation, which this deck is fairly reliant upon finding. I tried to build the same one that had Graveborn Muse that was a little bit more oriented around trying to play a value game with other cards like Ravenous Rats and that sort of thing, until, like, with the idea being you can bridge the gap until you find Zombie Infestation. That doesn't really work. You really do need to find Zombie Infestation at some point when you're playing. So I think you just need to max out on ways to both find it and make it good, which is why I'm also playing 4 Buried Alive instead of just a few. Because it is kind of dead. The second one might not do that much, but you really do want to find the first one. And the other reason I like Urza's Bauble is that this deck doesn't have a ton of early plays, or turn 1 plays, I should say. I don't think you can afford to play Dark Ritual because you don't really want the card disadvantage, and I don't think the speed does that much for you. You're not really ramping out into anything that impressive except maybe a Phyrexian Arena. Like Zombie Infestation only costs 2, so speeding up by 1 turn doesn't really seem, at the cost of a card, when it demands that you discard cards, doesn't seem like a good idea. So another way you can get card advantage on turn 1 is by making your Cabal Therapies better, and Urza's Bauble is a way to do that, and it helps you burn through your deck. So I think there's enough kind of overlapping synergies with Bauble in this build to make it worthwhile. As I mentioned, we're playing Cabal Therapy and Duress. These are the premier disruption spells in the format. They're a little bit better because of the Bauble, and I think it makes sense to play 4 copies because you want enough things to do early, and if you're base black, these are kind of the only really good things to do. Of course, there's Funeral Charm, which is okay if you're playing against X1s, but we don't need Funeral Charm that much because we are playing 4 copies of Sickening Dreams. 1 in black as an additional cost to cast this spell, discard X cards. This deals X damage to each creature and player. So, of course, this card is pretty good with Krovikan Horror and Squee, because you can discard it to Dreams and then get them back. So it's nice as a board wipe. There's a lot of decks in this format where dealing X to all creatures is pretty good. There's a few where it's really not very good, but there's many where it is quite good. And I like the idea of being able to play 4 of this card and just having it on command when you need to do it, because these decks are usually the creatures they play are pretty high leverage, and if you have to wait a turn to do it, they can be too late for it to really work. Like if you wait a turn to kill their Argothian Enchantress, it might be too late at that point. They may have drawn a bunch of cards already. Same with a bunch of elves out of elves, goblins out of goblins, creatures out of Sligh. There's a lot of examples where you really can't afford to wait too long. Finally, to round it out, and this can kill your own zombies, but once you get Infestation going with a few of these other creatures, the zombies multiply pretty quickly. So yes, it can kill your zombies, but on the other hand, it can also help to finish off your opponent once you've dealt them a pretty good amount of damage with the zombies. And the other thing that can help to finish off your opponent or control your opponent's board, I'm playing 2 copies of Goblin Bombardment. I think this is a very good card in the format. Makes a lot of sense with Zombie Infestation, but I'm only playing 2 because it isn't particularly good if you don't have this engine going. So, I don't want to play a ton of cards that are only good in very specific scenarios. And then I'm playing a couple of copies of Withered Wretch just because I think it's a decent card to just put in your main deck if you have a few slots available, because it can just single-handedly shut down some decks. And the mana base, 22 lands with the 4 baubles. Our curve basically stops at 3, so we should be okay there. I think you can afford to play a Spawning Pool. I think you can afford to play a Tainted Peak, but you don't want to play too many of these Tainted Peaks because they are very bad in multiples. Like if you don't have a swamp, it's a really bad land. But I think between the 10 swamps and the 4 Bloodstained Mire, we should be okay on that front. And then in the board, the extra 2 Withered Wretch. Only 2 Plagues. I think we can get away with this because we do have 4 Sickening Dreams already. And we do have some Baubles to kind of like dig towards the Plagues. So, and Goblin Bombardment as well to control creatures. So I think that's all right. Dystopia is a little more important because this answers enchantments and it answers large creatures like Terravor. And we don't have a ton of answers for that, basically just the Snuff Out. In the kind of in-between build, I did have more edicts and stuff, but I think there's just no room for them if you really have to be kind of all in. We got an attrition here. This is an interesting card. It's an enchantment. You can sack a creature to destroy a target non-black creature. So if you do manage to resolve this against, say, Dreadnought, it's pretty strong because now any zombie you make, you can pay a black and kill their Dreadnought. So they're really not going to be able to ever kill you with Dreadnought if you do get this into play and keep it there. It's also pretty good against Terravor and stuff like that. But again, you do need a zombie in play, but that is kind of what this deck is based around doing. So hopefully we can make that happen. An extra Vendetta against early creature decks, and you can board it in against Dreadnought if you really need to. 1 Gloom against Replenish, again with the idea being you can dig towards it with Bauble. Goblin Tinkerer and 2 Overloads. These are pretty useful against Dreadnought, of course, but also you can pretty much expect your opponent will be bringing in Graveyard Hate against you since this thing relies on your graveyard. So we want enough answers to answer their answers, or enough cards to answer their answers, I guess. So I'm going with 2 Overload and a Goblin Tinkerer. 1 Bottle Gnomes for the Sligh matchup. I think the Sligh matchup shouldn't be too bad because we do have Sickening Dreams to kill their early creatures, and we can start racing them with Zombie Infestation and Goblin Bombardment. And I didn't really want to play Drain Life this time because, again, we don't necessarily want to play out that many lands, and we don't have Dark Ritual, so Drain Life is not as good as it would otherwise be. And then a Tormod's Crypt as an extra graveyard hate card. So that's the idea behind this deck. We will run it through a league. And thank you for watching, and please like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. We've reached 500 subscribers here, so thank you all for making that happen. We will return with round 1. All right, this is definitely a keep. We have Zombie Infestation, Squee, and Krovikan Horror. They lead with a Mishra's Factory. Not sure what to make of that. I'll lead with a basic swamp and pass the turn. Rishat and Port. Okay, they're going to port me. I do have lands though, so not the end of the world. I guess I'll tap my swamp and draw and play a swamp and pass the turn. I don't want to get wastelanded. Could play Mire, but they can already tap one of my lands. There's another port. They pass the turn. I don't know what's going on here. Okay, my swamp is tapped. I draw. Another Zombie Infestation. I guess I will go get a basic land. Maybe the mountain. I have 2 mountains, so yeah, I can get 1 mountain. And I'll play Zombie Infestation. And I'll make a zombie right now, discarding Horror and Squee so that I can get back the Horror at the end of my turn. So the Horror is in my graveyard with Squee directly on top. So when I go to my end step, this can return to my hand. I will always yield, and I will say yes. I can't really think of why I wouldn't want to do this, but I won't say always yes for now. Okay, they play a mountain, so they're red, and they concede. Okay, so this might be like the big red Ponza deck or something. Looks like they couldn't deal with Infestation. Krovikan Horror, Squee combination. So what do we have for them? They probably play some artifacts, so I think the Overload and the Tinker will both be good. I think Wretch could be good, but I don't know if we want more than the ones that we already have. I think Arena is also good. Sickening Dreams maybe won't be so great against them. I think we could board out 3, board in 3 of our artifact hate cards. I'm glad we have 2 mountains in this matchup because they might very well kill one of them. Do we want Bottle Gnomes? I don't know. I don't think it's really like a race situation, so maybe not, but it might be better than some other card. I don't know if I actually want this last Sickening Dreams. Maybe a Wretch is better. Let's go ahead and play a Wretch. And we'll see how this ends up going. I could play a Vendetta. That can target a Mishra's Factory, which I don't hate. Yeah, okay, instead of the Wretch, I'm going to play a Vendetta to deal with their factories and whatever other random card they have. Let's give that a try. I'll submit the deck. I'm not playing any Tsabo's Webs. Maybe I should be. I guess that's a card we could afford to play pretty easily. Because we wouldn't be able to play Spawning Pool anymore, but that's not the biggest loss in the world. Yeah, let's keep this. And maybe I should have room for 1 or 2 webs. All right, they mulled to 5. This is going to be good in combination with our discard, I think. We play Mountain and Pass. I'll draw and play a Duress. I draw a Goblin Bombardment. I kept this hand even though it doesn't have an Infestation. I'm not really planning to like mulligan to Infestation because that doesn't seem good to me. All right, Pillage and Stone Rain. So we can go ahead and take Stone Rain, and then next turn we will Therapy for Pillage, or maybe we'll Duress for Pillage and see what else they have. All right, there's a Grim Lavamancer. So there still could be some utility for Sickening Dreams. Did I board all of them out? I mean, I do have a removal spells as well, but okay. No, I did board them all out. All right, so maybe I shouldn't do that. They play Factory. Can untap. Bloodstained Mire. Okay, that'll be good. But for the moment, okay, so we know what their card is. It's a Pillage, and I don't really want to get pillaged right now. So I think I'll use the Therapy, and I can save the Duress for later. Okay, we get their Pillage. I'll play Swamp and pass the turn. Then we can Buried Alive next turn for something. They're going to crack in for some damage. That's okay. Yep, we take 2. So I could Duress, or I could Bombardment. I could Duress plus Bombardment, or I could Buried Alive. I think I'm going to Buried Alive because then next turn if I draw Infestation, I can play Infestation and Bombardment in 1 turn. So let's Buried Alive for some cards. I think we'll get 2 Squees and a Krovikan Horror. Maybe we get 2 Horrors. I guess the Horrors are a little bit better to play out. I mean, not necessarily, but possibly. Let's get 2 Horrors and 1 Squee. So, and if they draw a Graveyard Hate card, we'll have the Horrors back in our hand by the end of this turn. Okay, so always yield, and we can return these to our hand. Yep, I take 2. Yes, and yes. All right, so they're going to get aggro with Factory. Oh, and yeah, Krovikan Horror can trade with Factory. That's another reason why it could be good here. We play a Barbarian Ring. Okay, I'll always yield and return the Squee, draw for turn, a Sulfurous Springs. Let's see here. So I could take 3 more, and then I can play Horror with mana open to kill Grim Lavamancer. Or, well, I'll have the Bombardment. I guess I don't need to do it that way. They only have 1 card. I'm kind of guessing it's not a good card, but I do sort of want to get Bombardment down. Once it's down, they can't really do anything about it. All right, let's Duress them. Masticore. Okay. Yeah, let's hit that Masticore with Cabal Therapy. Okay, that gets rid of that, and let's go get a Bombardment and play it. So they're cracking in with Factory and Grim Lavaman. You got it. I'm at 9. I draw a Therapy. I think I'll leave. I mean, there's really no reason to leave open the sacrifice I get, I guess. Maybe it's safer to play out Squee. No, this is fine. Actually, I'm gonna try this. Therapy. I don't know what they would have. Maybe like maybe a Pillage. Just a Mountain. All right. So we can go ahead and play Springs and play Krovikan Horror. And now we can threaten to just block the Factory. Play Mountain. Evan Ural's Disc. Okay. That is a bit annoying, but it's not the end of the world. Goblin Tinkerer. A little bit late, but once they crack the disc, that will be good, because then we can kill or at least threaten to kill the Factory with it. So what's the play here? I guess the play is to get in with Krovikan Horror, see if they want to trade, or take 2 or whatever. So they take 2. Now we can play out Squee, and then if they pop the keg, we can just get everything back. We got to make sure to do this in the right way, but we can do it. So pass the turn to them. They activate Factory. Are they attacking with this? I think that would be a big mistake. Okay, they are. So I guess I can just go ahead and block. And then I'm going to send both things at the factory, sacking my horror, and then I will let these trade. If they drew a Graveyard 8 card, it's kind of bad, but they didn't. So now I get my Krovikan Horror back, and then I will get the Squee back. They can deal me 2 more, which isn't great, but I do think getting rid of that factory was worth it. There's a Withered Wretch. That'll be good later. For now, I can just play out this horror again. Or maybe I guess it's safer to play out the Squee. I could play it, no. Yeah, I could play Squee and Wretch, sort of incentivize them to blow up the disc. Maybe I should do that. It's fine. I'll just play Squee. All right, so they're shooting me. It's fine, I don't need to respond to that yet. They're going to blow up the disc. That is the question. Curse Scroll. Okay, that is a problem. I need a non-Tinkerer answer to that. Or I need, I don't know. All right, let's shoot that with Squee. I guess I could, no, I want to get it in the graveyard so I can get it back. All right, let's return Squee. Yes, dry swamp, that's fine. All right, guess now we gotta try and get aggro. Force them to pop this disc. Play a horror and I'll play a Tinkerer. The Tinkerer is just gonna die, but at least it soaks up some damage. Pass the turn. Targeting me. Not bothering to go after the Tinkerer. Okay, I get scrolled. Lightning Bolt. All right, so yeah, I take 2 from scroll and then I die. Too slow, took too much damage there. What can we do? Could board in Bottle Gnomes. I guess I'm willing to do that. And maybe Arena is just too dangerous in this matchup. An extra way to kill Grim Lavamancer might be good. Maybe Withered Wretch is not actually that relevant. We can board in 1 Sickening Dreams. Okay, I'm satisfied with this. We still have 1 Wretch. Yes, let's play first. We have Duress Therapy and Bauble. Squee Horror, we just need Infestation. So let's kick it off with a Duress. Okay, they have Avalanche Riders, Furnace, Disc, Bolt, and some manlands. So yeah, let's take this Furnace. That's very good against us. We do not want them to have that. Pass the turn. Oh, I should have baubled. I don't know why I didn't do that. I just forgot about it. Not used to playing with this card. Okay, a little bit of a mistake there. I guess we can bauble during their turn. And since they're going to port me, I'll go ahead and play the Withered Wretch right now. Get a clock going. If they want to bolt it, I think that's okay. Right, there's their port. I will bauble them at the end of the turn. I mean, this actually I think is better because we give them more turns to draw multiple copies of things. Okay, so they reveal a Riders, which we did know about. Let's draw. After they port us, of course. Might as well exile their Furnace. Draw. Mire's good. Another Krovikan Horror is not so good. Okay, we're going to Therapy, so let's just do it now. And I will name... they still have 1 more turn before they play Disc, which is worse, Disc or Avalanche Riders. I mean, if they tap out for if they tap out for Disc, it's too late. So I might end up just flashing this back, but we'll see. I will name Avalanche Riders, I guess. Okay, we got 2 of those. So their 4-card hand is Lightning Bolt, Disc, Factory, Wasteland. Let's play a Mire and get in. And I'm going to take a little bit of a risk here and let them draw 1 more turn before sacking this Withered Wretch. I don't want to sack my Mire because it's my red source. So they're going to get in with Factory and just kind of try and race back. Interesting. Well, I guess I'm glad I didn't hang back to block because I could not have blocked very well. Okay. We draw Zombie Infestation. That's what I'm talking about. That is a very good draw. So we get in with Wretch, and we play Infestation, discard Horror, Horror. It doesn't really matter. Horror is fine. And then we can flashback Therapy, getting rid of our zombie, and name Nev Inural's Disc. Okay, they did draw an Avalanche Riders, but that's not the worst thing ever. And yeah, go to our end step, always yield, get back 1. Need to be really careful with this fetch land. If they go to, but we're actually safe because we can discard at instant speed. So they can't really get us with the wasteland. It's actually not possible. Okay, yep, so they activate factory. They get in. I will take it. Are they pumping? They are pumping. All right. I'll just do this now because I have to do it second main anyway in order for it to work. Krovikan, then Squee. And they scoop it up to the parade of zombies. Okay, we drew Infestation in 2 games, and we won those 2 games and did not win the other one. Back for the next round. Round number 2. This is a keep. It's a little sketch, but okay. There's a Jackal Pup, so we have the ability to block that, but we do need to find some things. Let's Duress, and then play some redundant Urza's Baubles. Duress you. Bolt and 2 Incinerates. I guess I'll take the Bolt. This opens up the possibility of a Cabal Therapy. Draw next turn if they don't play one of them. Play a Bauble, play another Bauble, pass back. I guess I'll wait till the end of their turn to hit them with Bauble. 2 damage. To my Dome Nug. Bloodstained Mire, play a Mog Fanatic. Okay. And a Curse Scroll. That's pretty good. I'm going to need to overwhelm with zombies to fight that. Play these Baubles, even though I know what they have. And draw for my turn. I can yield to those. Swamp and Duress and Therapy. So plenty of discard. Maybe, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I need a little bit more things that aren't discard in this deck. I'm not sure. But that's okay. I think I can afford to play this Tainted Peak. I don't think they play Wasteland usually. And I'll just clear out both of these with the Therapy, and then I have a card left for Zombie Infestation later. So Therapy you, name Incinerate. Those are gone. And I guess I'll play Tainted Peak, pass the turn. So their hand is empty, but I now am at 15, and once they start getting some lands, this scroll will start working me over, so I need a way to... Goblin Cadets, all right. Well, Infestation's pretty good against Goblin Cadets, I will say that. I mean, it's pretty good against all these creatures. So I don't think I'm playing a land, I'm just playing Zombie Infestation. I have nothing that works with it currently, but I can make 2 zombies. Next turn I can make another. I don't really want to discard my last land because that does give me access to Buried Alive. But, you know, we'll see what happens. All right, they are cracking in. I'm definitely going to make a zombie. See what they do. Any order. Don't need Duress anymore. Or will block. Okay, they let that happen and take 2. And then it's my turn. All right. I draw. All right, that's a start. That gives me a little bit of value because I can discard this and Wretch and get it back. So I will do that right now because that's what I'm going to do anyway. Horror, then Wretch, and make a zombie. And I don't think I need to play my land yet, so I will just pass the turn. Always yield, yes. So now if I draw either a Squee or a Horror or a Buried Alive, I'm in pretty good shape here. I have to be careful with this other Krovikan Horror, or like doing it again though. All right, they Incinerate. If they attack, I have to. Yeah, I mean, I have to do this. So I will discard my land and my Horror and leave the Horror on top, I think. So I'll discard Springs and Horror. Springs, then Horror. So now if I draw another creature, I can get it back. I mean, I could have discarded the land instead, but I don't know. I didn't. I think I want the land to enable Buried Alive. So now I get their Goblin Cadets, which is pretty nice. And if I can get... No, this goes to their graveyard. Never mind. All right, there's a Sickening Dreams. I don't think I need to do that yet. So I'm just going to attack with Zombie Token and pass the turn back to them. And like now if they attack me with Fanatic, I can just take it and crack back with Cadets. Yeah, I'm going to take this. I mean, obviously I'm not blocking with Goblin Cadets because then they just get it. Sure. I'm not going to make a zombie because I want to keep my land. There's Buried Alive. That's what I'm talking about. All right, so let's attack. Seal my zombie. They take 2. And we are going to strand our Horror, but that's okay because we're playing Buried Alive. So let's do that. Let's get Squee, Horror, Squee. Put Horror on the bottom, then 2 Squees. Yeah. Yes. Oh, wait. I get... Oh, I guess I do get it back. I thought the Buried Alive would be on top of it, but it's not. So that's actually insane. Yeah, I get my other horror back. I guess I should have got one more horror then, but oh well. Maybe I should have anyway. It doesn't matter. They can't beat this kind of card advantage. They never do the land for scroll. Would have made it more interesting. Okay, so I definitely want Bottle Gnomes. I want Tinkerer. I want these overloads. I think I want Vendetta. I don't think I can afford to play Snuff Out. I definitely don't want Phyrexian Arena. Sickening Dreams I think is still good. I could ease off some of this discard a little bit, and maybe I don't need 4 Sickening Dreams. I'm just going to shave some Duress and Cabal Therapies. I think Therapy's worse, but with Bauble it's like not as bad. I think maybe I want to go down to like 2 of each and board in one more like Withered Wretch just as another blocker. I could also play Engineered Plague, but I think between Sickening Dreams, Bombardment, and whatnot, that's not really necessary. So this is pretty good. Yeah, let's go with that. This feels like the Sligh matchup should be pretty decent. Okay, yeah, I mean, this hand has no removal, but it has our most important card and the enabler for our most important card. They get a Jackal Pup. That's cool. Okay, we can Duress and then Bauble. Duress you. Bolt, Lava Man, Jackal Pup Seal. We'll take the Bolt because it's the best one. Bauble, pass the turn. And we are on the draw, so we might take some damage here in the meantime while we're getting set up. But then once we do get set up, we should be in good shape. There's a Pup and there's a Lava Man. We take 2. If we do draw Sickening Dreams here, I'll probably take a turn off just to play that. Let's Bauble you. Another Jackal Pup. All right, so they got a serious lineup here. We draw a mountain, draw a swamp. I will definitely going to play Infestation. So Infestation, yeah, so I can just play, it doesn't really matter. I'll play the mountain. I guess I can afford to play around price progress. Not that I think they would even have that, but maybe they will. And we can pitch. We really only want to make 1 zombie here, so we're going to take some damage. But we can sort of force them. Okay, they have Mishra's Factory. Right, there's a seal. And they are attacking with Pup and Lava Man. Yeah, I guess we might as well make a zombie. I can discard 2 lands here. Preserve the option to play another Buried Alive if I want. Any order, and this is just going to soak up some damage. Which is, yeah, all right. I mean, I ate a Seal of Cleansing, and I will take... The reason to do that now is to make them, use their seal now. Because if I don't do it, then they might just use the seal to burn me out. So let's draw a land. That's okay. It could be better, obviously, but we can Bury It Alive. And I think we get Horror, Squee, because then we get 2 horrors back, and we can make 1 more creature on their turn. Yeah. So we go Horror, Squee. End the turn, always yes, or always yield to get them back. Now the question is, how many zombies do I make? I have to decide kind of right now. They activate a factory. I think I need to just play this. Oh, they don't attack? I think maybe that was a mistake. Yeah, they skipped through their attack step. All right, bad beats there. I think if they had attacked with these, I think I am supposed to make 2 zombies. So I make 1 more. And they can kill 1, and then I get to block whatever. I get to block Pup, I guess. I take 4 more. I get Horror back. Then I get Squee back. Then I draw my card for the turn. I have 3 cards. I discard Horror, Squee during my main phase, and then I make 1 more. I get 2 horrors back, and I can make 1 more on their turn. Alternatively, if I don't do that, I could go to 8. And then Buried Alive again. And then I'm making way more zombies, but I took 2 extra damage, which may not be worth it. So, yeah, not sure what would have happened, but got that one. Let's be on the play. All right, this hand is a little sketch. Basically, all it's doing is playing Sickening Dreams and some lands. I think we are supposed to mulligan this type of hand. Okay, this one has Infestation and Buried Alive. I'll keep it. I can put a Sulfurous Springs back and be done. I guess I'll hold the Therapy because I don't know what I'm playing against. Maybe I can draw a Bauble or something. Or, you know, once they play a card, I'll have a better idea. They play a swamp. Huh. Swamp pass. Well, I mean, I guess that's what I did, so I can't really criticize it too much. All right. So if I play Zombie Infestation here, they might be able to therapy naming Buried Alive, but at the same time, I can't really risk not playing Zombie Infestation, so I'm just going to play it and see what happens. See what they do. There's a swamp. There's a Dark Ritual. There's a Ravenous Rats. I'm just going to discard Therapy. And there's a Wretch. Ooh, Wretch is really bad. Okay. That is maybe not beatable. Main deck. I need a Sickening Dreams. I guess I will try to get some horrors at least while I can. So let's play Buried Alive. Get horror, and I suppose a Squee. Whatever the third thing I get is just going to get exiled. So given that, maybe it should just be Withered Wretch. But I don't know. I feel like I should probably make them do it, you know? So horror first, then horror, then Squee. Pass the turn. Always yield. Yes, yes, and you're up. So it is Moneyball Black with the main deck with the Wretch. That is a problem for me. Duress. Yeah, sure, you get a Duress. Oh, that was stupid. I should have discarded to make a zombie. That was a huge mistake. Oops. Okay. I mean, I do still have this therapy I could use, but I don't really think it's doing anything good. Okay, they hit my Squee. They can't really attack, or I can make a zombie. If they pass, I won't make a zombie. I'm going to see if I can kill this Wretch somehow. I don't. So, what's the play? What is the play? 3 horrors. Could make 2 zombies, and then I get 1 horror back. And then they can eat 1 and then tap and eat the other. I really should have 1 more zombie in play right now. Alternatively, I can wait. Playing Sickening Dreams is part of the cost, so it's not really doing that much for me if I wait. Yeah, let's make some zombies. I think erasing them is maybe our best bet at this point. Yeah, they get that one, that's fine. So I am going to get 1 of these back at least. Yes, they get rid of the other one, play a swamp, exile my Cabal Therapy. It's fine, I wasn't about to use those anyway. Okay, I mean, they aren't really doing a ton over there. I mean, the Wretch is very good, but there's a Duress. I could make 1 more zombie, but let's crack in first. Seems like they really don't have much, so I might be better served just making a zombie with this. I kind of think I am. I mean, if they had anything good, I feel like they would have played it already, so I'm just going to pass the turn. Yeah, they're getting my whole graveyard. All right, Factory's pretty good. That stops my... They're going to therapy me. They can name Krovikan Horror, so I might as well make a zombie here because I know they're going to name it. They know about it. Put Krovikan on top. Doesn't matter. They're just going to eat it. They use their Factory. I guess they're not blocking with Factory. That's fine. All right, so therapy does nothing. They play a Chainer's Edict. Okay, 1 of my zombies is gone. They pass the turn. All right, I draw my card. Bloodstained Mire, Dees. I think I hold it for potential infestation. I attack with both. They take it. They get in. I cannot block. I can no longer attack because of Factory. They play another Withered Wretch. Sure. Untap. There's a Goblin Bombardment. I am going to play that. That's pretty strong. I will hold the land though, and I will hold back all my zombies. My graveyard's gone. They're almost ready to flashback. Chainer's Edict, but not quite. They pass the turn. I draw a swamp. I'll hold that. They therapy me. See what they name. Whatever they name, it ain't hitting. Squee. Good name. That is a card I would want to hold, but it is not what I have. They pass the turn. Sickening Dreams. That is pretty good. I'm going to attack with my zombies here, and if they block with Factory, then I can kill the Factory. It's a pretty suspicious attack, but I don't know, maybe it's not that suspicious. Okay, they are going to block with Factory. This is amazing for me, because now I basically just like reset the board. So yeah, no reason to do anything here. I need this Factory to take damage. So they can save it. That's okay. And then they take 2. And then I can fling this at them and play Sickening Dreams for 2. Done. Any order? X equals 2, kill all of your cards. You can exile all my graveyard, that's cool. All right, so 7-14, they have 1 card, I have 2 enchantments in play. They've gotten rid of 2 of my horrors. All right, and there's an Enduko Shade. So that was a good draw, and now I am probably going to die. There's another Goblin Bombardment, not what I want. They have to be a little bit careful about how much they pump this thing, but not that careful. Yeah. There's a Spectre, sure. Okay, so maybe they were sandbagging some cards. That would be smart. All right, I guess I'll pass the turn. They still have to be a little bit careful here. Squee would have been welcome there, but it is not what I drew. So let's see, this is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Not sure if I have any outs, but I think like blocking and sacking at them is not really very good. So yeah, I'll take it. Okay, they didn't deal me that much. This on the stack, I will make a zombie. Any order. Draw another Zombie Infestation. That's going to get discarded. Yeah, I don't think I can quite beat this shade. All right, good beats. This deck's pretty good. Guy who designed it must have been really smart. All right, main deck Withered Wretch. So what do I want here? I don't have a lot in my board for this matchup, as it turns out. I mean, I have the Sickening Dreams to kill Withered Wretch, but I do need to draw it first. Attrition and Vendetta are not exactly the cards I need for this matchup. Plague can handle Shade, which isn't the worst. I mean, it's probably better than Snuff Out. Tinkerer and Overload can help to try and deal with Factory. I think Arena's good. Withered Wretch against them doesn't do a ton, but it is a 2-2. Maybe I just trim on some discard. I think Overload's probably good too. Maybe I can get by with, well, no, I want all the therapies for Wretch. If I knew what they were playing, I could have just therapied Wretch, but they would have drawn another one, so that's not a surefire way. Let's get rid of Withered Wretch, and do I want the second Overload? Nah, not really. One and 1 Tinker I think is okay. I do have Scroll, which is pretty good against me. Maybe I should have it. Okay, this has no lands. And it has, yeah, I mean, I can't keep a no lander, I don't think. This has a land, 2 Sickening Dreams. I don't really want to go to 5, but this hand is quite bad. Because even if I Sickening Dreams, I don't get anything back. So I think I am going to go to 5. All right, I mean, this isn't good, but it's something. Put an Engineer Plague on the bottom and a land, I guess. Done. Play a swamp and pass the turn. This is the thing with Bauble, replacing some lands. All right, they duress me, so yeah, they're going to get my Plague, which is unfortunate. I guess that's maybe an argument to just put both Plagues on the bottom. Draw, form a turn. A Squee, okay. If they don't have Wretch, or if they do and I draw Sickening Dreams immediately, Ravenous Rats, I accept. Accept your terms. Discard a Squee. Return Squee to my hand. And draw Zombie Infestation. Well, I can't complain. It's one of the better draws. I think I just get a mountain here. And I think maybe I don't play my land. Zombie, pass it back. Get my horror back. All right, so they need a Wretch immediately, which they very well could have. And there it is. So I lose my Squee. That's rough. I mean, I suppose I could have not done that. And in fact, I probably shouldn't have done that because I could have just done it on their turn if they didn't play Wretch. But it doesn't matter that much. All right, I'll attack and keep my options open, I suppose. Take this damage. Tainted Peak. Okay, I guess I'll pass and I will try and block their Wretch. They smother my zombie. Okay, there's a Shade. They don't attack. I guess that makes sense. Another land. Yeah, I mean, I'll just pass the turn. I'll pitch lands if I have to. Spawning Pool, you love to see it. Interesting art choices here. I mean, they went with the OG Spawning Pool, but then they have crappy new versions of everything else. 2 damage. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm taking 2 damage. Not really very good. Pass it back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I could Dreams for 6. 4, 5. That would stop the Shade. Animating Pool at end of turn. Okay, just stunting. I like it. Now they don't attack with Shade? Why wouldn't you attack with Shade? Spectre? All right, so they're playing into the Sickening Dreams extremely hard. This is not a good idea, by the way. Like the Shade by itself is really working me over, but I mean, I get the impulse to try and get the game over with, and it probably will work unless I draw Sickening Dreams, which I did. So now we have a game on our hands because I can go, what can they put this for? I have to do this for 4. So I discard Duress and 3 lands. What land do I keep? Probably Tainted Peak because it doesn't deal me damage. Okay, guess that's what I'm doing. Sickening Dreams, 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep my Krovikan Horror. Discard for 4. If they have a Dark Ritual, I guess they get me. I can't really play around that at this point. Pass the turn. Swamp. Another Withered Wretch. Disgusting. All right, so the game will continue. Cabal Therapy, that's going to make a zombie. Pass the turn. Yes, I wish I had like a lightning bolt in my sideboard or something. Honestly, maybe even a curse scroll or 2 wouldn't be horrible. I guess you can kind of control it with Zombie Infestation. And it is something to do with your 3rd land, which you do sort of want to play anyway. But most importantly, you can kill Withered Wretch for value, Graveborn Muse. All right, that's probably going to be the end of my chance of winning. I'm going to need another Sickening Dreams now, like immediately. That's a swamp. All right, pass the turn. I guess I'll take 5. Or wait, no. I mean, yeah, I should try and block this Withered Wretch. Did I already? I guess I already. Oops, I went through it by mistake. Oh well, they have another Withered Wretch. I don't think this was going to work. But yeah, if I wasn't doing this, then I should not have made this zombie. After blockers, obviously. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I didn't draw anything of relevance. All right, they got it. Okay, we got a 4-lander, but it's kind of like a 4-lander plus a mystery card because of Urza's Bauble. And it has Buried Alive. I'm going to keep. We'll see. This could be a matchup where maybe Bombardment plus Buried Alive creatures could tide me over until I draw Infestation. Could also be totally useless. This is the thing about Urza's Bauble, is it doesn't help you know before the game begins. It only helps you know after. All right, Sickening Dreams. Not sure if that's any good. Let's play an Urza's Bauble and play a Swamp. And I guess I should have played Swamp. They could have force-spiked my Bauble. I'll pass the turn to them. I'll let them draw. Play an Island. Am I facing down a Standstill here? Actually, I think Standstill should be a good matchup if I can draw some discard. Sabo's Web, yeah, that doesn't do anything against me. Actually, that's not true. It taps down my spawning pool. All right, let's Bauble you. Swords to Plowshares. Also not an amazing card against me if I get everything going. Which, there's the Zombie Infestation. So the problem is I don't have anything that works with it right now, but I think I still do it. Just to be able to resolve it right now is pretty strong. If they untap and have the disenchant, then that's pretty good. Yeah, I think I can at least make 1 creature here. And in fact, I wonder if I should make another one. Problem is then I have to discard Buried Alive or my land to play it or Goblin Bombardment, and I don't want to do any of that. So I will let it go. Okay, they don't have a land, interesting. So they're going to get to Swords the zombie token, but that's another tax on their mana. Drew Withered Wretch, doesn't do much. Let's resolve this Buried Alive right now. Maybe we can grind them into the dirt with our creatures. So let's get 2 horrors and a Squee. Horror, Squee, attack for 2. Your turn. End of my turn. Yes, I will return both. Impulse, digging for a land. Sensible, but looks like they whiffed. Ooh, bad luck. That is quite bad luck. Their hand must be quite stacked at this point. Well, there's a Duress. So I could Duress, or I could land Bombardment and Withered Wretch. That is quite bad luck, I must admit. What do I even want to do here? They're so hamstrung on lands, but I don't really want them to discard my Bombardment too. But I mean, they usually don't play that many disenchants main deck. Maybe, I think if they discard my Bombardment, it's like not the worst thing ever. No, that's dumb. There's no reason to rush like this. Let's just Duress them. Okay, so they have 2 counterspells and absorb 2 swords and an impulse. I think the correct play here is just to take a swords and play a Withered Wretch and continue the beatdowns. I mean, I could have tried to take their impulse, but I don't know. I feel like they're due to find a land pretty soon here anyway. Okay, they do have a land. Flooded Strand, that's good. Now I can resolve Bombardment though. And if I just jam Horrors, them countering them is not all that great. Let's attack. They're taking it. No, they're not. Are they? Oh, I see, because they don't want, yeah, they want double blue. They don't want to have to use this to get red mana, or white mana. That's rough. The time has come to keep playing, what do I do? Play Horror? Yeah, I guess I just play Horror, and then when they're in a really tight spot. They're basically going to be, okay, they did draw the land. That's good for them. Okay, they do that. I will sack it to target them. Sag it to itself. Put you to 10. And now I can't play any spells for a little bit, but that's okay, because they are going to have to do something. And I could play out Squee. I don't really want to give them an absorb target. I'm just going to attack. Yeah, they're stuck. They got 2 mana screwed. All right, so what to do? Tinker is probably good against Factory, which they probably have. I guess Gloom is probably okay against them. You do have to be a little bit careful about boarding out your removal, because they could always have Exalted Angel. Probably need to bring in Overload just in case they have Graveyard Hate, which I'm sure they do. So if I brought in these 3, what would I take out? I mean, Wretch doesn't really seem like it does a ton against them. Oh, Sickening Dreams is actually even worse though. Yeah, we can keep in these Wretches as like just extra threats. Do I want a Dystopia just in case for some random stuff? And do I want Overload? They played Sabo's Web, so I guess they aren't going to have Factory. So really it's just like, do I want this stuff to counter their Graveyard Hate? Yeah, they must be the big version. Did they play? I think they played Web, right? Yeah, they did. Okay, so they don't have Factory for sure, which I guess means they probably have some white permanents. They might also have Decree of Justice, so you could make an argument for Dreams or Plague, but that's more of a late game thing. I think we don't want to like overdo it. I'm just gonna roll with this. 2 Buried Alives and 2 Krovikan Horrors. It's not the best hand I've ever seen, but I don't think it's a mulligan. We'll draw some discard. It'll be cool. Or like an infestation that will somehow resolve. I mean, the game's going to go long, so I think having it's like making your land drops and having some threats is good. We could therapy right now. Yeah, let's go ahead and therapy right now. I'm just going to name Counterspell. Name the wrong one. All right, pass it over. Null, absorb, mana leak. Sure, there's another therapy. I guess there's no real reason not to just do this. It costs black, doesn't it? And they're gonna, they can leak it or not. If they don't leak it, I will name leak, so they do leak. Yep, sure. Now I will try to resolve a Buried Alive next turn. To counter it, it's not a huge deal. There's a Temple, play Swamp to play around Dust Bowl, although they can't really play Dust Bowl in this deck, so never mind. But anyway, I'll play Buried Alive regardless. Irregardless, they drew the counterspell. Good beats. They miss a land drop. Really, really bad to miss a land drop when your deck has Temple of the False God in it. That is a rough one. Okay, let's get this fetch land out of here so we don't risk putting it on top of something. I think I'm just going to get another swamp. Now, do I play Krovikan Horror? Kind of think I do. The question is, do I use it right away? If I don't, they can swords it away, which is kind of not great. I mean, I could just jam the Buried Alive here, but resolving it is really important. They only have 2 cards I don't know about. They can't play Absorb right now. If I did sack it, I wouldn't name anything that they have. I am going to play the Horror, though. And then I can, see if the coast is clear. But I'm just going to name what I know about, which is Absorb. They drew Eternal Dragon, so they can get their swords back online. But that's all right. All right, Eternal Dragon, that's good to know. I guess I should have realized they were playing that. I still have 2 Wretches in my deck, so it's not like the worst thing ever. All right, so they play a Plains, and I will try to resolve my Buried Alive now. Okay, so what can I get? horror, at least one of those. Maybe I just want all of those? No, I think 2 horrors and 2 squees is plenty. I guess I'll have 3 horrors. So yeah, I just need to be able to resolve this infestation when I draw it. Yes, I will get those back. All right, so they go to their turn. So I can resolve Cabal Therapy. Ooh, Furnace. That's not good. That's going to hit my therapy too. Devastating. Okay. Well, I get my squeeze back if they don't want to use that right now, which they apparently don't. I'm not drawing infestation anyway. Okay, I can get rid of this mire here. Get my other mountain, play a horror. If they go to swords it, I can sacrifice it. They don't want to do that. Okay, they're returning Eternal Dragon. So they can play that again if they draw land, but if they don't, then they can't really do that. Meanwhile, I did draw Infestation, but they had this annul. I guess I should have hit the annul instead of the absorb, maybe? I wasn't anticipating things playing out quite like this. Alright, that's fine. I will play my other Krovikan Horror. If they tap out for dragon, I can resolve it next turn. And I can sack my Krovikan Horrors if I really want to get them back. In for dose. They did draw the land. Are they tapping out for a dragon? Looks like no. In that case, I will continue to beat down. There's a Bloodstained Mire. I want that in my graveyard immediately as a further cushion. Swamp. And I will attack with my creatures. They swords, I will sacrifice, targeting you. Alright, I will try playing another one. I get rid of the first. Sounds good. Cycle dragon. It resolves. Yep, alright, I'll pass the turn. Impulse. They don't get back dragon. Kind of scary. They just have another dragon. They just have a wrath. Okay, well, I'll sack to itself, and then I will sack to itself. And my creatures get wrathed, and I get 1 back. Yes, draw. 2 zombie infestations. Okay, well, they have 4 cards. I don't think it's... I mean, I could just try and play a horror, and then I guess it... I mean, they're not going to counter that. That wouldn't make a lot of sense. I'm just going to try and resolve these infestations. Let's play 1. That's going to get annulled. Let's see if the other one resolves. That's going to get counterspelled. Brutal. Oh, man. They didn't have a ton of cards I didn't know about, so I thought it made sense to go for it there. But now it's looking bad because my Krovikan Horror is trapped. Yeah, maybe that was just a mistake. I didn't really need to go for it. Well, now I'm in real trouble. I guess I'll just play out a Squee, which isn't really going to do anything, but I will do it anyway. If they want to swords my Squee, they are welcome to do so. Sure. Yeah, I kind of forgot this would get trapped under the infestations. That would be a reason to not do that. They just play 2 angels. Okay, yeah, that might do it. Oh, I drew another one. Might be a little bit too late at this point, but let's see. Cast a zombie infestation. Discard horror and Squee. Yeah, if I had just played Krovikan Horror last turn, I would be in a way better position right now. Fact or Fiction. Counterspell, Impulse, Wrath. I'll give them the Counterspell and the Wrath, I think. Maybe I shouldn't give them Counterspell and Wrath. I'll give them the lands and the Wrath. The Counterspell, Impulse. Pretty decent. 8. I think I have to make some zombies. Or make a zombie, rather. Alright, so yes. Return Squee. Draw. Duress. That could be useful potentially later. Except I can't play it later because I have to make a zombie. But does this kill them? No, it doesn't. Alright, they're impulsing. But yeah, I'll pass the turn. Returning Eternal Dragon. Sure. They attack with 1. Oh yeah, and I see I'm dead next turn. Okay. Yeah. Sounds good. I still have to do this. Discard Squee and Duress. Get back the horror. Yes. Return Squee. If I draw another discard spell. No, I drew a land. So they just counter horror and that'll do it. Yep. Counter horror block, go to 3. Okay. Definitely user error there. I should have won that game. Just needed to play Krovikan Horror instead of the infestations that one turn. I wonder if attrition is maybe better than Dystopia. I think it is. And Withered Wretch actually seems kind of good as well. If all they have is Phyrexian Furnace, I might be able to work through that. Gloom. Yeah, Gloom's probably still good enough. So what do I not want? All these other cards are good. Maybe attrition is just kind of like too conditional. I think it's pretty solid though, actually. All right, I'm just gonna cut a Wretch, resubmit the deck. Yes, let's play first. Oh, I forgot about the spawning pool. All right, I'll keep. I mean, the rest of the hand's very good. The pool is kind of screwing me over, but that's all right. Let's start off with a Bauble and see what we can do. Names, or they reveal swords. Swords isn't really like the most important card, but it's hard to pass up a free hit. So I will name it. Nice hand. I mean, it's not as good as you. Well, the hand is good, but I think naming swords here might actually be a horrible mistake, but I'm doing it anyway. Yeah, they have a null. So now I'm like kind of screwed because I saw a card, but it wasn't really the right card. And now they can counter some stuff. There's a Mire. I mean, I guess I'll just run out the Infestation, hope they counter it with a null, and then hope my Arena resolves. I'm just drawing lands here. Okay, let's do this. Play a Mountain, play an Infestation. They counter it, but actually the real card I want to resolve is this Phyrexian Arena. So they have 2 draws to have found an answer for it, and looks like, well, they might have found another annul. That's possible, but there's nothing I can really do about it. I have to just jam right now. Tinkerer is good, but I think resolving the Arena is more important at the moment. So let's try and do that. All right, it's in there. But I guess at least thanks to Bauble, it did hit something. So there's a morph. Okay, so that's an angel. I need my cool attrition technology, which I don't have. I can play a Tinkerer though. And do I want to play Spawning Pool? Maybe not. I'll play Spawning Pool actually. All right, pass it back. I won't be blocking. They don't flip it. It's fine. Draw Squee. Draw Withered Wretch. Okay. Get a Swamp, and I guess I'll play Wretch. Or should I just not play anything? I mean, they're just gonna flip this at the, no, if they flip it at the end of the turn, I can kill that. Yeah, I'm just gonna play Wretch. See what they do. Preemptively exile it. Sure. Oh, actually, I could have prevented that. But then I don't get to regenerate with Spawning Pool, so this is maybe better. Now they have to tap out to flip the angel. If they don't, then I'm definitely, they don't even attack. Wild. Maybe it's not an angel. I think it probably is. All right, I'll exile their graveyard now. So this could paradoxically hurt me because it kind of gives them no choice but to flip this angel, but I still think I'm supposed to play it here. So I'll play Duress. A Factor Fiction in response. All right. There's a Factor Fiction, and there's a land, I guess. And there's 3 more lands. Yeah, that's fine. They took the land and the fact. So the hand is island. Oh, I thought they had an extra island. I guess I was wrong. So they have fact, counterspell, Achroma, decree. I guess I'm taking Factor Fiction. I think I'm going to clear out the fact, the decree, and the counterspell. Justice, get rid of that. And then what? I think I will play, I guess I'll get in with Wretch, offer this trade. I should have done that first. And then I'll play a Squee. And then I can flash it back next turn on counterspell. We play an island, flipping up a Exalted Angel. Yep. All right, so I'm under the gun here. I basically just have 1 more turn to draw a removal spell, so gonna need to do that. Duress, that is not it. I guess I have a little bit more time, although not really. Let's Duress, Mana Leak, Counterspell, Vengeance. I suppose I'll take Counterspell, Creatures, and then play my other Squee. I forgot that I had named taking Counterspell at first. All right, that's not good, but yeah, that actually might be game losing. Well, we'll see what I draw. Might be dead anyway. All right, just a bunch of lands. So punted game 2 there. Probably should have been a win. All right, we got some infestations, so that's gonna have to be a keep. Hopefully we can draw something to go with them. Our opponent opens with a Battlefield Forge and a Weathered Wayfarer. Interesting. We can play Bauble and play a Swamp, pass the turn. They're just going to pass and do nothing. Okay, let's take a look at their hand. Call of the Herd. Alright, so it's like Terrageddon type stuff. Let's draw a couple lands. Because if we play a basic land, they can't really wasteland us, which would be nice. Or I suppose I can just get a swamp, huh? Although that does make Terravor a little bit better. So yeah, let's just get a... I do think I want a swamp. I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'll play an Infestation. They're going to Withered Wayfarer. That's cool. I mean, it's not that cool, but I can't do anything about it. They decide not to use Wayfarer again. Disenchant my Infestation. I'm going to let that happen because I do have another one. I suppose I could discard some lands here, but I want to keep some around because I think I am going to Dreams Away the Wayfarer. Yeah. Let's go ahead and do that. Actually, should I do that? I have a Call of the Herd, so I could use it on that, although I don't actually have a way to... I don't have any source of card advantage really with this Sickening Dreams. Yeah, let's just do this, and I'll discard a Sulfurous Springs for 1. And then I guess I will go ahead and play a land. Play a mountain so it can't get wastelanded. Then when they play, if they play Call of the Herd this turn, I can nab it with the Withered Wretch. Buy a little bit of time. There it is. Duress. I am kind of interested in duressing them. Another Call of the Herd. Fire, Ice, any Swords to Plowshares. I guess we can get the swords, and that'll make things kind of difficult for them. And I'll go ahead and play the Withered Wretch and nab their Call of the Herd from their graveyard. 3 here. Play a Sylvan. Not the worst. I can Therapy away their Call of the Herd. And then exile it. And I'm not going to block, so I guess I'll get in at the moment, or for now. They play out a diamond. So their last card is Fire Ice. Activate a Treetop Village. Attack for 6. Looking bad. I draw a Snuff Out. That can buy me 1 more turn, I guess. Although I'm not sure once I get that turn what I can really do with it, but I'll attack. They fire me. Yeah, so I guess this can't actually buy me 1 more turn. Well, we'll see what they do. Although since I didn't draw the Buried Alive yet, I don't think there's anything I can actually draw at this point. They activate both villages, so even with Snuff Out, I cannot win. Yeah, I just never really saw something to go with my Infestation there. Okay, Overload's pretty solid. Dystopia is pretty good. Tinkerer, I mean, it can kill a Mox Diamond. It's kind of nice. I think I want all of these. Crypt could be okay. I mean, Wretch has some uses here. Sickening Dreams actually maybe is not so great. It's kind of expensive to kill anything, or, you know, it requires a lot of life to kill these 3/3s with it, and it can't kill Treetop Village, although neither can Dystopia for that matter. I guess Bombardment is pretty bad here. Their creatures are all pretty large. The discard, maybe we can cut a Therapy here. I'm also not sure about Arena against this deck. Maybe I should cut that for another Overload to deal with their Graveyard 8. Do I want Tormod's Crypt? I'm assuming they have some Terravors somewhere in there. I suppose Withered Wretch maybe is better. I'm missing having the Plague Bearer for these cards for like Treetop and whatnot. Yeah, let's just roll with this. I'll be on the play. This hand is pretty bad. I think it's a mulligan. Okay, this could work. I mean, it still has no support for Infestation, but it does have Dystopia, which is okay. I think I'll put back the Sickening Dreams, since I don't really have any ways to support it at the moment. They go to 6. I'll put this back. I think I'll name... I mean, I do have a way to deal with Library and Dystopia, but I don't have the mana for it, so maybe I just name Sylvan Library. I guess I could wait a turn as... Oh no, they could have Mox. Yeah, I'll just name Sylvan Library. It did hit. They have Pyroclasm too, that makes sense. So they're playing City of Traders. There's a Windswept Heath, Squee. I mean, that's pretty good. I think they don't have an answer to Infestation right now, so I think it's time to just get it started. And they do have Pyroclasm, but it's still just a 1-for-1. I might not even make a zombie because I'm not sure which of these I want to discard. But if they disenchant it, then I guess I'll be forced to. And realistically, I probably should anyway. I might just keep the Snuff Out because they don't really have a lot of green permanents right now. Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Yes, let's return that to my hand. Buried Alive. That'll be amazing if I can actually get it going. I'll just attack for 2. I'll make them play the Pyroclasm if they want to do that. We don't currently have the mana to do it. They were really leaning on that Sylvan Library, and they do not have it anymore. There's a Terravor. It's a 2/2. Yeah, I won't be making a zombie because I want Snuff Out and Buried Alive. An Overload. Not what I'm looking for. Yeah, let's kill this Terravor. I'm going to want to kill it anyway. And just get in. We're putting a little bit of a clock on them. Wasteland. That's pretty good. Yep, they get my land. Alright, well, do I discard the Buried Alive? I think I'm still going to hold on to it. I'll discard this Overload, since I don't have red mana anymore. I think I'm sort of obligated to name Pyroclasm here with one of these zombies, since they could draw a red source at any point. Good. Let's get in with these zombies, and then I will name Pyroclasm. So their remaining card is a Swords to Plowshares, and they have Fire, Ice, City of Traders Swords. I'll play Bloodstained Mire and pass. Okay, they concede. I didn't have them on fastest of clocks, but I guess it's good enough. Would I have drawn the land? Yeah, I would. So that definitely would have increased it. Yeah, I think maybe Dreams is like not good at all, possibly. And I just want more sort of spot removal. I mean, Wretch is pretty good, despite it does die to Pyroclasm, but they do use their graveyard a lot, so I think having Wretch is pretty valuable. Overload, maybe I don't need 2 overloads, and I can put in... Attrition is kind of interesting because it does deal with a large number of Terravors, assuming I can have some creatures going. Or, it can deal with more than 1 Terravor with 1 card. I'm going to try it out. I know they have, I'm sure they'll have disenchants and stuff, but it's not like those are dead anyway because I already have Dystopia and Zombie Infestation, so their disenchants will be live regardless. Do I want a Vendetta just to like deal with Treetop Village? Possibly. I could just take out this other Overload and just leave the Tinkerer. I think I'm going to risk doing that. I could cut a Duress. Maybe I'll trim out a Duress and keep 1 Overload. Yeah, this looks okay. Let's try that. It's a little awkward that Withered Wretch dies to the same thing all my other zombies die to, but what are you going to do? Wretches maybe, it's not at its absolute best in this deck because you don't necessarily have that much mana. You don't really want to play a land beyond turn 3. However, you also don't have that much to spend your mana on, so you can spend it on Wretch. We got a 1-lander, which is vulnerable to Wasteland, and a bunch of 4 3-drops. So yeah, not really possible to keep this hand. Duress, Squee, some lands, Urza's Bauble. Not amazing, but I think is a keep. I'm actually going to put a mountain on the bottom and see what they can do. Just kind of have to hope to draw into Infestation plus Buried Alive with this hand. Draw a Swamp. Not really what we want. I'll go ahead and I'll use my Swamp to try and keep Terravor from being played if I can, maybe. And Duress them. I see Ray, Sylvan Library, Nimble Mongoose, Wasteland Port. Okay, their hand's kind of slow. Let's take this Sylvan Library, and I'll play a Bauble and pass the turn. Obviously, Ray's pretty good against our deck. Ray should import. Play a Mongoose. That's a clock, though it does get blocked by Squee, for the time being anyway. They reveal a Ray, okay. Draw a card for my turn, or for Bauble, and then for my turn. There's the Zombie Infestation, and there's the Sulfurous Springs. So here's my dilemma. If I Zombie Infestation and make a bunch of zombies, I turn on their Terravor, which is awkward. But if I don't play it, then I'm just getting plinked in by Nimble Mongoose. So this is quite a conundrum. Right now I know 4 of their cards. Currently they can't cast Ray or Terravor. So I could just play this out and hope that they can't do that for a while longer. And the Terravor will eventually be active in one way or another. So I guess I'll just play out the Zombie Infestation. See what we can do, because it can block the Nimble Mongoose at least. They draw a Gemstone Mine, so now they can hit my Zombie Infestation. I am going to go ahead and make at least one zombie here. I guess I'll leave it at that. So now I need to draw a Withered Wretch. Fortunately, I do have 4 in the deck, so maybe I can do that. Just another Squee. Not great. I'll attack, and I suppose I can play a land here and play out one of these Squees. Actually, does that make sense? It blocks Mongoose at least for now. I think it's okay. I don't have another Zombie Infestation in the works at the moment. All right, so there's a Terrageddon. These swords a Squee. That's fine. I get to keep my zombie then. Okay, I'll draw a swamp. I guess I will keep the second Squee. I'll just leave this zombie back. It's the swords that won't go towards our Withered Wretch if we ever draw one. All right, they activate Village. Crack in for 3. I'll take it. Draw. There's Withered Wretch. That is very good. Yeah. Okay, so I will play Withered Wretch and hope it lives. Now I suppose I can exile my 2 lands, and then if they want to save their Tormod, they have to wasteland their own land, which I think is pretty solid. They didn't want to do that. So now that's in their graveyard. I'm not going to block Treetop, so I think I will get in with the zombie token now. Gemstone Mine. They activate Treetop. That's okay. I will be taking that. Okay, they just pass. Seems like they're kind of out of action. They tap a mountain. I will exile Ray of Revelation from their graveyard. And then it's tapped. I'll draw a swamp. All right. I could play a Squee to block and double up this Treetop Village. Then they can wasteland my Sulfurous Springs, which is not ideal, but I don't think I want to do that yet. I'm going to get in with both of these creatures first and see what they do. Okay, they take it. Trying to get rid of the counters on their Gemstone Mine. Okay, they attack with both. Yep, sure. I take that. Yeah, I guess maybe I should have played Squee because it does also block Mongoose. I'll do that next turn if they let me. I'm certainly in danger from Pyroclasm here. A ton I can do about it. Try Cabal Therapy. I feel like if they had Pyroclasm, they would have played it. So what could they have? I feel like they would have played swords as well. They could have like a Disenchant or something. Let's try naming that. Armageddon. Yeah, I can see why they wouldn't want to Armageddon. If they Armageddon next turn, does that give Nimble Mongoose Threshold? I mean, it does, but is that actually good for them? I don't think so. Let's see, 1, 2. They can put 2 cards in their graveyard, but they can't get Nimble Mongoose to have Threshold yet. Yeah, I'm going to play out this Squee as a blocker, and I will continue to get in. Gemstone Mine, Weathered Wayfarer, not currently active. I suppose it can be though. Okay, I'll draw. Duress. Well, I suppose that will take care of this Armageddon. I can no longer attack with my creatures, so I guess I'll just pass the turn. Web would be pretty nice to have in this matchup. I found a swords. I'll exile their graveyard, some of it. It's definitely going to be a problem. I get rid of my springs. Yep. Draw a land. Not a good draw. I'll pass the turn back. I need a Buried Alive into Infestation. That's what I need. Another Nimble Mongoose. Okay, it's creeping up there. They're searching out some more lands. Tranquil Thicket. Hope is a pretty good one. Yeah, let's play that. Pass the turn back. Got my land. Activate Wayfarer. Go get another Treetop Village. Yep, makes sense. These Nimble Mongoose are about to be large and in charge. They're going to activate Treetop. I can accept that. I think I have to block here. I think getting Squee back into my hand is something I kind of want to do anyway. All right, I will. Yes, I'll pay a life, get Squee back to my hand, draw a card, Cabal Therapy. I don't think I know anything that they have. So I actually think maybe I'm supposed to hold this in my hand, hold the therapy that is, in case I draw Infestation. However, I do think I guess I really don't want them to swords my Squee. So I guess I can name that, but I just have lands. Okay, play a Squee to block. and pass the turn. So I kind of got their board covered except for this last treetop village, which there it is. I will happily chump block. Yeah, I will pay 2. Tap my mountain. You got it. Is doing some work here, but it's not quite enough. Yes, return Squee. Infestation. Another Dystopia. Not exactly what I need here, I have to admit. I think I have to just hold everything. I don't think playing a Squee, like playing a land and playing a Squee just a chump block, save 2 damage. I don't really think that's ultimately that good. I suppose I could be wrong. I mean, I could take 3, but then next turn if I draw Infestation, I can make 2 zombies, which is pretty crucial to deal with what's in play. So yeah, I'm just going to pass, I think. Get rid of their other mongoose. Get attacked by Treetop Village. Down to 4. There's a forest. I tap my mountain. I will not pay. Draw another land. Yeah, okay. I guess at this point I will play out the Squee to block. Alright, they drew swords. So now I think I'm drawing dead because I can make 1 zombie to not die, but I can't actually like win. I just drew a land anyway. All right, that's it for this match. All right, so we didn't finish that well. Ended up 2 and 3, but I still think it was a pretty useful league to see what was and was not working with the deck. I have a lot of observations. The first was that Goblin Bombardment was not that impressive as I thought it would be in the deck. It had a little bit of utility against Sligh, but I feel like we could maybe get by with just the Sickening Dreams, and therefore maybe we don't need Goblin Bombardment at all, which then calls into question the necessity of playing red. I still would probably play like 1 mountain to be able to cast Squee, but I don't know that you have to splash for any actual red cards that you plan on casting. And if you didn't play red, you know, that would open up some more space. So you could go blue. You could play blue instead, and that way you would get Intuition, potentially Waterfront Bouncer, maybe potentially Deep Analysis. So you could get a few more cards that sort of work well with Zombie Infestation and Buried, an alternative to Buried Alive, I guess, in the form of Intuition. That's a bit more flexible because, you know, then that card can get the enablers if you're missing those, or it can go get Zombie Infestation. On that same topic, it was pretty hard to win if we didn't draw Zombie Infestation or our Infestation got destroyed, which is not that hard to do. A lot of decks can deal with Zombie Infestation, and you can like hold it in your hand until you get some enablers, but then you're kind of not doing anything. So I don't think that works very well. So I think, yeah, I would probably lean towards playing blue, or maybe playing black and sneaking in some Tainted Pacts to try and search for Zombie Infestation. Because, yeah, the deck really doesn't function without that card. Bauble was okay, but if you're blue, I mean, it kind of worked with Cabal Therapy, but if you're blue, you might not need to play that sort of card, especially if you cut down on the therapies. I think a card that could actually be pretty good is Cursed Scroll, because you can get your hand fairly low with Zombie Infestation at a quick pace. It's a way to also deal with Withered Wretch, which is obviously a huge problem for this deck if it stays in play. So you do want a way to kill that, and you know it's just a nice repeatable source of damage in a deck that doesn't really have a lot of those. I mean, it has Zombie Infestation to get card advantage, but and maybe Sickening Dreams if you can work with if you can do it with a Squee or a Krovikan Horror. But other than that, it doesn't really have a lot. So that could be welcome. I also might want to try and fit in a Sabo's Web, but on the other hand, if you're going monocolor, mono black, then you could actually just play Mishra's Factory, which is a really, really good card and would be pretty good in this deck, I think, because your colored mana requirements are not that intensive. So playing 4 would be no problem. But yeah, if you went monocolor, you could possibly play Powder Keg as for like your source of removal for artifact hate, like Furnace or Tormod's Crypt, which we didn't even really encounter that much. But and you can sort of work around a Tormod's Crypt by discarding things, just discarding like a Krovikan and a Squee once, and then if they don't crypt it, then you just do once a turn. If they do, you might have some backup. This is assuming if you get to Buried Alive first. So yeah, I think that might be the way to go, is either blue-black or mono-black, and work in some of those cards I was mentioning. But I do think there's some promise with this archetype. I'm not saying it's like the next major archetype or anything, but I definitely think it could be worth 5-0ing it, or it could be possible to 5-0 league with a more refined version of this this strategy. So if you enjoyed the videos, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we will see you next time.